about?
Sorry.
Okay. You know, I have to say though, because a lot of people said, oh, the first walker in the episode they thought was Andrea.
Right.
Which if it was, I had no idea. Maybe I shot it and had no idea that it was Andrea, but no, because in the script, she was shot in the face with a shotgun. So it was actually Mike Satrazemis, who's the director of photography, it was his wife. So we did a cool makeup on her, and her face was blown off, and you can see the jawbone sticking out. And we just, in the script, it said she had a handcuff on, but it was never really specified what the handcuff meant. It was just in the script that way. So I was like, oh my God, it was Andrea. I'm like, no, sorry.
Before we go on, I just want to remind all you guys, anybody who wants to ask a question, just line up at the mic and we'll turn it over to you as soon as we see you.
Don't be shy.
Okay, one thing I really wanted to make sure to go over, Karen and I really loved the scene last season with Pete reaching up from the watery death, zombie Pete.
Oh yeah.
And I was just, was that extra challenging because of the water, and can you talk about how that was done?
We actually shot that scene in a swimming pool, right around where we shoot in Sonoya. And we dressed the entire bottom of the pool with black duvetine and put some plastic seaweed, and the actor had to swim down, and we had to hook his leg up to the fake chain. And we shot that, probably took about a half hour, and he would have to swim up and catch a breath and then swim back down. But we couldn't put the zombie contact lenses in because if he opened his eyes, they would have floated away. So we didn't put any contacts in him. The visual effects guys put the eyes in later. But it was cool because we had him reaching at the camera. And it was fun because he got to swim around the pool and with the camera.
Was he freaking out at all?
No, he was good. A lot of people get kind of nervous about that stuff, but no, he did great. It was fun.
Another scene that I just love from the season premiere that we just watched was when Carol blew up the propane tank and the zombies go flying. Can you talk about making that scene?
Yeah, you know, we shot that right up the Conyers Meadows, which is probably like 15 minutes from here, which is where the terminus location was. And the big challenge with that was we couldn't get walkers close to the tank. The gas tank that we built was made out of styrofoam with fiberglass over top of it. So the special effects guys built it and they rigged it with explosives. So we shot a lot of the lead up to it, but we couldn't actually put people around it once it was rigged to explode. So in the episode, all the zombies that are walking up to the fence were all CGI. We couldn't put any real people there because it was dangerous. And then I think we used 6 cameras. And the funny thing about it is, you know, when you shoot the episodes of The Walking Dead, the director gets his first cut, and then Scott Gimple goes in and he refines it, and it goes to the producers and it goes to the network. So in my first cut, I had like 5 different angles of the explosion, because you know when you do explosions, you shoot 5 or 6 cameras, and then you use all the different angles to prolong the explosion so that it looks big. It's like Michael Bay, you know, every Transformers movie is like 90 angles of the explosion. So when I did my cut, I used a couple different versions of the explosion, and Scott said, listen, the whole thing about this is Carol's story. I want to keep the explosion in her perspective. So we ended up only using 2 angles. We used the one over Melissa, and then we used one other angle, and then we put all the CGI zombies getting blown up in the background. But I felt like we could have sort of gotten a little more bang for the buck. But
no, it was amazing.
No, it was great. That explosion. You know, Robert Kirkman was in town. Everybody was all ready for the explosion, and the one angle I wanted was Melissa in the shot. So we had that one camera with her in the foreground. And we added the CGI flare, of course. But Melissa's sitting there and counting it down. It's like 3, 2, 1, and she's waiting, and then it exploded, and she jumped. It was really good. I had so much fun. That was the hardest 9 days of my life directing that episode. I've done 2 more this season already.
Who liked the premiere?
First of all, thank you. I mean, I'm so proud. I love this show. If I didn't work on The Walking Dead, I would probably be sitting in that chair wanting to hear everything about the show. Because the thing that we all share, the thing that Andy and Norman and Steven and Scott Gimple, and we love the show.
Yes.
Norman and I last night till 1 in the morning were talking about, you know, ideas we had and what we want to do for the show.
What? Just kidding.
Yeah, where were you guys? We were waiting for you. But it was really, you know, it was a challenging episode, because last season I directed the premiere, but we had an 8-month time jump. So we see Rick in the field, and he's, you know, farming, and we had to sort of reintroduce the audience as to where the characters were. This year we picked up right where it left off, you know.
Yep.
So of course in the train car at the end of season 4, when Rick says they don't know who I can't swear because there's kids here.
Can you imagine what it would have been like? Oh, I'm sorry, I just totally cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Can you imagine if this premiere had been the pilot? I mean, you really have to work up to this.
Listen, the best compliment that I've gotten was that people said they felt it was the best episode since the premiere.
Yes.
So, you know, they put that episode on par with Frank Darabont's pilot. That's the biggest compliment that I think we